It's now been over 12 hours since Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 lost contact after taking off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and heading to Beijing. Joining me now is Shukor Yusof. He's an aviation analyst with Standard & Poor's. Okay, Shukor, I was speaking to an airline pilot earlier who said it is extremely rare to lose all contact with an aircraft. What are some of the possible scenarios as to why this has happened?
Hi, Deborah. It's very unfortunate that this incident has affected Mars at a time when they're undergoing very severe economic challenges. Now, we don't really know what happened to MH370. It went off radar for over 10 hours, and indeed, it is rare for an aircraft of such size, and with the technology that's available in many of the planes that's flying today, that it wasn't detected. Again, I was speaking to many people in the industry with the manufacturer of the aircraft, and no one seemed to be able to give an indication of what actually went wrong.
Okay, and it said that the plane may have lost contact somewhere between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace. So what is the procedure? Is it up to the pilot to report that the plane is actually entering a different territory?
I think in such a situation for many flights that are taking off from Kuala Lumpur, first they go into Malaysian airspace, and then they go either south to Singapore airspace, or in this situation into Vietnamese airspace. And certainly the Vietnamese ATC air traffic control would have an indication of the MH370 plane that was entering into its airspace. And so the pilot has contact with ATC on the ground. It would also have contact with the airspace that it has just departed from, which in this case would be Malaysia. So for it to disappear for this considerable length of time is indeed quite odd.
Okay, and that was my actually my next question is I mean, it's been over 12 hours since the aircraft was reported missing. I mean, how unusual is this, and have there been any other situations like this where a plane has been missing for this period of time?
I can't think offhand of any recent experience of a plane having gone off the radar for such a period of time as the Malaysian Airlines plane did. The last significant incident we had in the industry was an Air France Airbus A330, which unfortunately crashed into the Atlantic Ocean after takeoff from Brazil on its way to Paris, and that was discovered pretty much quickly, almost immediately. But let's not forget that the wreckage for that airplane was only discovered, or rather salvaged, almost 2 years after. It shows you the difficulty, the tremendous challenge involving any search or rescue operations when it happens in the sea.
Okay, but I mean, given the fact that, I mean, if, you know, obviously we do not know and we have no confirmation over whether this flight has crashed, but if it did crash into the sea, I mean, the fact that there's so many flotation devices on board, wouldn't there be some indication coming to the surface if there was a plane crash in the sea?
Indeed, that's certainly something that the Vietnamese and the Malaysian authorities would be looking out for. You're looking out for debris, flotsam, and things like that typically would emerge when an incident occurs of an aircraft hitting the water. So again, we have had, I'm not sure if it's confirmed or unconfirmed reports from the Vietnamese authorities about of the plane hitting into the water, but certainly in previous experience that it would reveal itself in form of debris being emerging from the water.
Okay, and maybe you can tell us how a search and rescue operation works when actually you don't have any idea where the aircraft is? What will authorities be doing, and how is the effort coordinated?
I think this incident would present itself in a considerably more difficult challenge for Malaysian Airlines and the Malaysian authorities, because it happened if indeed it did happen in Vietnamese water, because of the language barrier, obviously, that it would pose. Also, we understand that it's going to be a bit of a challenge for the Vietnamese authorities, given the limited resources that they have in order to help out in any search and rescue, indeed search and recovery operations. So, and it's a vast area that we're looking at in the South China Sea. So, again, you need a lot of resources. You need a lot of help, not just from the countries involved in it, but also from, and I'm sure manufacturers also involved in this as well.
Okay, thanks very much, Shukor Yusof, joining us from Malaysia. For more on this story, you could go to WSJ.com, where we will be updating information as it comes in.